I'm going to call the closed session meeting of the Nevada City Council to order. Today is Wednesday, October 22nd, 2025. It is 5:30 p.m. We have one published closed session item, a public employee performance evaluation of our interim city manager. Hello, Joe.
Hello.
We'll take any public comment on this item and then recess to closed session. Give you a couple more minutes. And we're going to recess to closed session.
Great. PBS has a
Good evening and welcome. I'm going to call the regular meeting of the Nevada City Council to order. It is Wednesday, October 22nd, 2025, and it is 6:30 p.m. I'm going to ask Councilmember Peterson to read the land recognition.
I get it right. We acknowledge that the Nisenan people are still here among us today, though nearly invisible. We understand that we are on Nisenan land that was never ceded, and the original tribal families have yet to recover from the near genocide of their people. As a resident or visitor in Nisenan land, we support the Nevada City Rancheria Nisenan tribe in efforts to stabilize their people as well as their campaign to restore federal recognition.
Thanks, Gary.
Sure.
I will lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
I prefer not to.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Madam Deputy City Clerk, roll call, please.
Councilmember Peterson.
Here.
Councilmember Fleming is not present, and we were notified. Councilmember Fernandez.
Here.
Vice Mayor Cici is not present tonight, and we were previously notified. Mayor Klein.
You better make sure you notify her if you're not going to
Here.
be here.
Notice Lou was
Thank you very
previously
much.
notified.
We have nothing to report from our closed session. And now is time to adopt the agenda. We haven't got to that. Public comments?
I'm
No,
sorry?
There was nothing to report out from closed session.
There was public comment when we closed, but no one was here. We will adopt the agenda. Council, now it's time for any agenda modifications. Would you like to make any additional changes to the agenda, pull consent items, or do we have any recusals to announce?
I move we approve the agenda.
I second.
All right, I have a motion by Council Member Peterson and a second by Council Member Fernandez. Those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
And I'm not hearing any opposed, is that the case? The motion carries. We will progress to presentations.
This is presentation fest
It is a
here.
presentation fest. I'm going to have a little water and begin with,
Notice how much shorter the proclamations are.
we begin with Native American Heritage Month, November 2025. Whereas the history of the United States is deeply enriched by the cultures, traditions, resilience, and contributions of Native American, Alaska Native, and Indigenous peoples who have lived on the land since time immemorial. And whereas Native American Heritage Month is an opportunity to honor the sovereignty of tribal nations and to acknowledge the significant sacrifices, enduring strength, and vital influence Native peoples have had and continue to have on every aspect of our society, including governance, environmental stewardship, the arts, education, science, and public service. And whereas this month serves as a time for reflection, recognition, and education, allowing all Americans to deepen their understanding of Native histories and contemporary issues, and to amplify Indigenous voices in the ongoing pursuit of equity and justice. And whereas we recognize that acknowledging the past includes confronting the injustices and harms endured by Native communities and renewing our collective commitment to truth, healing, and partnership. And whereas we celebrate the cultural richness, traditions, languages, and enduring legacies of Native peoples and support efforts to preserve and revitalize Native languages, lands, and lifeways for future generations. Now, therefore, be it resolved that the City Council of the City of Nevada City hereby recognizes and proclaims November 2025 as Native American Heritage Month.
I'll share.
No one to receive. Next is National Hospice and Palliative Care Month, November 2025. Whereas each year millions of Americans living with serious life-limiting illnesses and their families turn to hospice and palliative care for comfort, dignity, and compassionate support during one of life's most challenging journeys. And whereas hospice and palliative care teams comprised of physicians, nurses, social workers, chaplains, home health aides, volunteers, and other caregivers provide high-quality, person-centered care that focuses on pain management, emotional and spiritual support, and honoring individual goals and wishes at the end of life. And whereas hospice and palliative care services empower patients to live as fully as possible, surrounded by the people they love, while also supporting caregivers and families through grief, bereavement, and complex decision-making. And whereas National Hospice and Palliative Care Month provides an opportunity to raise awareness about the essential role these services play in our healthcare system, and to recognize the skilled professionals and volunteers who provide this specialized care with compassion and dedication. And whereas access to hospice and palliative care is a vital component of comprehensive, person-centered healthcare, and efforts to expand awareness, education, and availability of these services are essential to improving quality of life for all individuals facing serious illness. Now, therefore, be it resolved that the City Council of the City of Nevada City hereby recognizes and proclaims November 2025 as National Hospice and Palliative Care Month. Moving on. This is for Military Appreciation Week, November 8th through the 14th, 2025. Whereas the men and women of the United States Armed Forces, past and present, have served our nation with unwavering courage, dedication, and honor, defending the freedoms and values we hold dear. And whereas throughout our history, members of the Army, Navy, Air Force, Marine Corps, Coast Guard, and Space Force have stood ready to answer the call of duty, often at great personal sacrifice, to ensure the safety and security of our country. And whereas Military Appreciation Week provides an opportunity for all Americans to recognize and express gratitude to our active duty service members, veterans, National Guard and Reserve members, and their families, whose strength and resilience are the backbone of our national defense. And whereas we also honor the families of military personnel who provide steadfast support on the home front, and the many veterans who continue to serve their communities long after they have removed the uniform. And whereas it is our collective responsibility to ensure that those who serve receive the respect, recognition, and care they have earned through their service to our nation. Now, therefore, be it resolved that the City Council of the City of Nevada City hereby recognizes and proclaims November 8th through the 14th, 2025 as Military Appreciation Week.
Hear, hear.
Thank you for your service.
We're going to keep that rolling. Honoring Veterans Day, November 11th, 2025. Whereas on November 11th of each year, our nation pauses to recognize the courage, sacrifice, and unwavering service of the men and women who have worn the uniform of the United States Armed Forces. And whereas from the Revolutionary War to today's global deployments, American veterans have answered the call of duty, defending our country and upholding the ideals of freedom, justice, and democracy at home and abroad. And whereas Veterans Day is a time to honor all who have served, whether in times of peace or of conflict, and to remember those who made the ultimate sacrifice, as well as those who carry the visible and invisible wounds of war. And whereas we recognize not only the bravery of our veterans, but also the strength and resilience of their families whose support makes military service possible. And whereas it is our solemn obligation to ensure veterans are respected, supported, and provided with the care and resources they have rightfully earned, both during and after their military service. And whereas we join communities across the country in expressing our profound gratitude for the service of veterans and reaffirming our commitment to honoring them, not just on Veterans Day, but every day. Now, therefore, be it resolved that the City Council of the City of Nevada City hereby recognizes and proclaims November 11th, 2025 as a day to honor veterans.
Well done, Mayor.
Thank you, sir. It is now time for public comment. Government Code Section 54954.3 provides that any member of the public may address the City Council on any matter not on the agenda that is within the subject matter jurisdiction of the city. The Brown Act, with limited exceptions, does not allow the council or staff to discuss issues brought forth under public comment. The council cannot take action on non-agenda items. Concerns may be referred to staff or placed on a future agenda. Please note that the comments from the public will also be taken on the consent calendar and each agenda item at the time it is heard. Do we have any public comment? We do.
Hello and good evening, council members.
Hey, time's up.
Just flies by, doesn't it?
So my name is Liz Newman, and I'm the president and client coordinator for a local nonprofit called PAWS, which stands for Protecting Animals While Supporting Sobriety. For anyone who hasn't heard of us yet, PAWS serves our community by removing barriers to sobriety. When someone in our community who is low income or unhoused and they're struggling with addiction, we provide foster care to their pets so that they can enter a treatment facility without worrying about the well-being of their animals while they recover. As I'm sure you remember, Police Chief Dan Foss and I were here a few months ago introducing this program, and I'm back tonight to invite you and our community to our official launch party. It's going to be a great event. It's Friday, November 14th from 6:30 to 9:30 p.m., and it will be hosted by Gold Vibes Kombuchery. We'll have live music by Acoustic Space Travelers, food from Mapu Empanadas, and amazing treats from Creekside Bakery. Plus, we are hosting a 50-50 raffle. We'll have lots of raffle baskets, a photo booth, games, and we've also reached out to a few other local nonprofits, and they will have a booth with adoptable animals. One of the projects that we'll be fundraising for that evening is the purchase of some mobile kennels, which will help us in emergency foster situations. Often, people have as little as 24 hours notice that they're getting a bed in a rehab, so they don't have anywhere safe to place their animals very quickly. These kennels will allow us to provide temporary care and housing while we arrange foster placements, so that people can get the help they need as soon as it is available to them. PAWS has already been able to help quite a few community members and their animals, but one of my favorite success stories is about a woman escaping domestic violence with 2 of her cats. For over 6 months, we were able to provide them with food, shelter, toys, beds, and veterinary care, including 2 oral surgeries. They've since been reunited, and even after she no longer was our client, we stayed in touch and helped her move forward into the next chapter of her life. We are also accepting donations for our raffle baskets, so if anyone here or anyone listening would like to contribute, please reach out. Our website is www.pawssnc.org, so that's www.pawsnc.org. Every bit of community support makes a huge difference. So thank you so much for your time. I'm going to leave some flyers with all the event information for you, along with an informational pamphlet about what we do and my business card in case you want more information or maybe want to make a donation. I hope to see you all at Gold Vibe Kombuchery on November 14th for a night of community, compassion, and celebration. Thank you.
Thanks, Liz.
Yay, thank you.
Thanks for the invitation. Any other public comment?
Just here to hang out, Gordon?
All right, we'll move on to the consent agenda. All items listed under the consent agenda are considered to be routine in nature and will be approved by one motion. There will be no separate discussion of these items. Before we take action on the consent calendar, we will hear any public comment on consent calendar items only. Do we have any public comment on any of the consent items?
Question. A change to the minutes. Do I need to pull it off or just make a comment about the minutes on that are asked to be approved on the consent agenda?
You can amend.
I'd like to amend it. So Amber, I wanted to go to, I can find it again, but on the meeting of the 24th, item B, conference with legal counsel, it says he's going to be rolling over on this one. Motion by Dean Pucci, seconded by Councilmember Fernandez. I'd be shocked if Dean made a motion. I think I made the motion, actually.
You did make the motion.
I made the motion, so no problem. Just fix that. We're good.
Additionally, go ahead.
No, I was just going to say, once you take the motion, just as amended.
Okay.
I think it's important to amend also number 8. PARSAC is no longer known as PARSAC, but it's the acronym CIRA, C-I-R-A.
Thank you.
At one point in the minutes, my last name was misspelled, but, I just pretended it was a different client.
With a C instead of a K.
No, it's the
E-I-N.
But you're doing fine.
You're doing the
You're just
important
getting
work
used
here,
to it,
Adam, by
so.
pointing that out.
It's the Andrew Klein thing. I am looking for a motion and a second to approve the amended consent calendar.
So moved.
Second.
I have a motion by Councilmember Fernandez and a second by Councilmember Peterson. Any objections to the motion? Hearing none, the motion carries. Moving right along to our business. Consideration of an update on grant applications and solicitations for the city and authorizing the annual renewal of a grant writing services contract with California Consulting, Inc. in the amount of $48,600. This will be presented by our friend Stephen Erlinson, hopefully.
Steve.
I'm not sure my mic is working, but we're having some technical difficulties. Is he on yet?
He's not on, but we're trying to get that connected.
Does your light come on?
No.
Go to the next item.
Oh, interesting. You should,
That's as far as it goes.
Oh, well, I'll just move closer. So for those who didn't hear, we're having some technical difficulties in getting Stephen on Zoom. So I would suggest that maybe we go down to the city manager and council member reports and then come back up to
Sure.
that. Hopefully he will be connected by then.
Is he on? Wait, we're getting a nod. Okay.
Gary, would you like to discuss Bruce Springsteen's Nebraska album for the people?
Well, I could in depth if you really wanted
no,
to.
don't want it. Don't want it. Nope,
I was a young man
Please.
when that album came
no.
out.
Sorry.
Is he coming to the Foundry?
So my report this evening will be rather brief since I've been here for very long, but there were a couple of items that were anticipated to be on tonight's agenda that are not. And so I just wanted to touch on those and indicate where we are in that process. One was the RFPs for the Foundry. There was an expectation that at least two of them would be back on here. With me just coming back into the role here as your interim city manager, I had to make the determination not to put them on tonight. I have not had the ability to really be 100% up to speed on those. I didn't want to bring something forward that was not going to be the final product. So those are in progress. They will be back before the council, if not the next meeting, as soon as possible thereafter. The other one was the ADU ordinance. Same thing. We ran into some questions that needed some legal advice, and we have just gotten that back from the attorney representing the city at the Planning Commission level. Gotten some clarification. There were a couple of other things that came to the forefront that we just did not have sufficient time to be able to put those together and bring you back a full package. So that is in progress also, and we'll have that back to you as soon as possible. So I just wanted to give you that update. Beyond that, I will just say that I'm happy to be back as your interim city manager. For those who don't know, I was here for almost 2 years, 3 years ago. Really? Yes.
Just under 2 years.
Yeah. So I came 5 years ago, stayed for those almost 2 years, and so being back here is really an honor for me. I love this city and always have. When I got the call to see if I was available to come back, it's Nevada City, so of course I was ready to come back. So I've spent the last 3 weeks, 2.5 weeks, trying to get up to speed. Having been here before, that's been an easier process, I think, than if you had to bring in somebody brand new to the community. So I'm in progress and getting up to speed on a lot of those things. Certainly to keep going forward with all the positive things that have happened in the last 3 years. I've been very impressed on what has transpired since I left. So with that, I will turn it over to the council for council member reports, and thank you for having me back.
Thanks, Joan. Welcome. Glad to have you. Daniela, do you have anything?
So the council and I attended the League of Cities Conference in Long Beach. Was that last week, 2 weeks ago? What is time?
Thank you, buddy. So not your consultant. I'm gonna go.
Oh, yeah?
Your stuff.
Is that right?
Why is Lon mic'd?
Okay. I tend to be honest. I was disappointed and underwhelmed at the conference. I was hoping that there were more workshops that met the moment of the time, and I don't I didn't experience that very much, but I did attend a workshop. I think the highlight for me was a workshop on youth-centered cities and how to bring youth voices and perspectives and needs into city planning and all sorts of realms of the city. And so I was really inspired by that. I heard from a lot of electeds from across the state on just exciting things that they're doing in their town to elevate and include youth voices. So excited to consider that in our town and what that can look like moving forward. And then Gary Peterson and I are the ad hoc committee that was assigned to look at the Foundry RFPs. As Joan mentioned, they're not here right now. We are revisiting them just to make sure they're right and they're ready. And some form, we hope to show up at the next meeting with the parts that are ready and to move forward. My understanding is that the construction on the patio will begin soon and is supposed to be done by Thanksgiving. So that's exciting. We are moving forward on those things, and I think that's all I got.
Thanks, Daniela. Gary?
Yeah, thank you. I do have to say, I did attend a couple of important sessions on wildfire urban interface at the League of Cities, although I think I would concur that the program is just, it seems to be in decline. I'd like to see more relevant stuff. Acknowledging that we're a little rural community and our needs are often very different than the big dogs that run the show down there.
And rural communities are largely not represented on panels or in discussions or workshops. Yeah.
Exactly. But it's, I go personally to confront my past and see all the people I've worked with over the years. But there's a lot of great networking that happens, and I think that's really important. So that report that we had a joint meeting of the Planning Commission and the Fire Safety Advisory Committee, which was really, I think will eventually go down as a milestone in talking about how do we we call it the prevention versus prevention paradox.
Say that again.
Prevention versus prevention paradox.
Prevention versus prevention.
Preservation versus preservation paradox. Oh my God. Okay, because we're doing a really good job of preserving our downtown historic sites. But if we don't preserve them from fire by allowing changes to materials or landscaping so that we can truly protect them, what are we actually preserving? Because fire will just take that all away from us. So it was a good conversation, a great exchange between two very capable boards that didn't know each other, and so they're getting to know each other. Everybody, did a good job of saying where they were on this and where it came from, and a couple of important things came out of it. Thank you, Lori Oberholzer, for showing up and supporting this work and acknowledging that the importance of what we're doing. I think that was it was noted and I think very important, and also
Endorsement.
a very important endorsement. And also that out of it is emerging an ad hoc committee to review codes and ordinances, working with Headwaters Economics to see where we might present changes as we come forward. So it'll be an iterative process that will go on for some time, but where I sit on fire, I waited till I wasn't mayor anymore, so I had the capacity to do this because I think it's one of the most important conversations that we're ever going to have about fire prevention in our community, which we're having a lot of conversations about. That was really good. I had the great opportunity today. Thank you, Mike from Nevada County Transportation Commission, inviting me over to talk about the 49 corridor changes and the Zion Street project, and to let you all know that tomorrow night at the Foundry at 5:30 is a community conversation, or hopefully decision-making around configurations for bicycles, sidewalks, et cetera, on Zion Street to redesign that corridor. Thank you, Brian, for your help on that. And so we'll be there tomorrow night, but it was a great conversation conversation with Mike and also at 49er. And I want you to know, if you're watching and you're on Orchard Street, we're hearing you. We are hearing you. We understand your concerns. So those are a couple of the things that are going on. And then next week we have our housing summit on Thursday at the Foundry. So a
The
lot of-
joint session.
The joint
between,
session with counties, cities,
in the town.
damn near everybody. Those are the stuff that's going on, and I will leave it at that.
Thanks, Gary. My one experience from the League of Cities down in Long Beach was I'd be sitting, listening to a panel, and someone would introduce themselves as being from a very, very small city, and then they'd go on to describe their population, and they're about 30 times our size.
Right.
I'm like, 30 times our size still gets 2 varies before small? Should I be here? I heard some interesting stuff. I will say, my first year there, I don't know if it was the programming was better or I just didn't know much, that I was dazzled by everything I was hearing. And now it feels like there
That's
should be conversations that are for advanced people who've been on council for a few years, because I would sit and just hear stuff I already knew a lot of the time, which is frustrating.
I will say to my colleagues that the conference is what we make of it in terms of if we have a panel or a discussion to put forth, we can also submit that.
kick down the
Just
door.
saying.
We might need to start running the show down there. As a very, 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 very small city, I think we have a very, 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 very valuable
Or
perspective.
120,000.
Also, Lou is not here, but he attended the Solid and Hazardous Waste Commission meeting on the 15th and had a couple things to say. WM reported that 81 senior discount applications were approved for Nevada City residents since the start of the new contract in July, and this number strikes my colleague as low. So those are available to you. If you're a senior in Nevada City proper, you can get a discount on WM.
If you can figure it out.
If you can figure it out. Lou called WM's attention
Find a
to
Gen
the
Z.
mislabeling of the 35-gallon container he received when his application was approved. It says no food. Lou provided a photo I'm not going to show you right now. That does not apply within NC city limits. They said they would correct the label on his can, but subsequent communication with them suggests they do not know how many other bins have been mislabeled in Nevada City. Something to look into. My colleague mentioned the summit next Thursday. Just for those who haven't heard of this before, it will be our third one. We're hosting this one. We're talking about housing. The electeds from Truckee will be here, from Grass Valley will be here, and from the county, the Board of Supervisors. So 20 dangerous egomaniacs all sitting in the Miners Foundry talking about housing. Look forward to that. And with that, is our friend Stephen Erlinson ready? Yes. Excellent. Sorry for the long intro, Stephen.
I'm not an egomaniac.
Yeah, well,
I was waiting to see who would dispute that.
Good
There he
evening,
is.
Honorable.
Steve!
So moving back to business item 9, consideration of an update on
Loved
grant
one.
applications and solicitations for the city and authorizing the annual renewal of a grant writing services contract with California Consulting Incorporated in the amount of $48,600. Stephen Erlinson.
Yes. Honorable Mayor and members of the City Council, I apologize. There was an issue with the Zoom link for myself and our consultant, California Consulting. They're with us as well. We were having a little issue there, but I think everything has been hopefully resolved. So with that, tonight, in brief, we're asking you to approve a second amendment to the agreement with California Consulting for grant writing services. Since we engaged California Consulting, they have provided us with about $1.2 million to $1.3 million in grant revenues. Our cost on the contract has been a little less than $73,000. California Consulting is asking for a $350 per month increase monthly. That would take the grant cost or the grant consulting cost annually up to about a little over $48,000 and change. But I wouldn't ask you to just take my word for that without presenting to you what California Consulting has done. So if I may, if you'll grant me at least about 5 minutes, I would like to walk you through a short presentation about the grants we've received, the grants that have been submitted, and the grants we're working on now, if the council would be agreeable to that.
We'll always give you all the time you need, Steve.
Yes, please.
Okay, let me share my screen if that's okay.
Sorry, I'll stop being mayor. I'll stop. I promise.
Never.
You should know.
Okay. All right.
Give you the next.
I'm hoping everybody sees this slideshow here.
Hey, Steve's favorite background.
So going through this, actually California Consulting has been very successful in working with the city to actually, through the entire process, get us awarded a few grants. So some of these might be familiar with you, some of these might be repetitive, but I think they are worth repeating. One here is the Neighbor to Neighbor grant, also known as the Cal Volunteers. We received that on March 1st of 2024. That was about a 2.5-year grant, totaling 250 grand. And really the purpose there was to organize neighbor-to-neighbor activities in 4 neighborhoods, at least originally. And with this grant, we've approximately had 28 training, volunteer, or community engagement events over the course of the last 22 months. You know, we still have some more that will occur, but been a very successful grant, and it offsets personnel costs as well that oversee this, as well as actual operational costs. We also received an appropriation that we requested from Representative Kiley's office in the amount of 150 grand. And that appropriation request was for a replacement of all the police department portable radio equipment, which included handheld radios and vehicle-equipped radios. So California Consulting was very helpful in helping us write this request and obtaining these monies. The third grant that we were awarded was the Cannabis Equity Grant. That amount was a little less than $558,000. We received notification on January 23rd of 2025. And the purpose of that grant is to advance economic justice for individuals harmed by any cannabis criminalization policies, things of that nature. And the purpose of the grant is also to promote equity and eliminate any barriers to entry in this newly regulated industry. But the City of Nevada City has done a great job working with that. And I think we've been a front runner in that, actually, based upon what the feedback I've received. Another grant we were awarded is the Caltrans Sustainable Transportation Planning Grant. Our amount awarded was a little more than $323,000. The award date was July 7th of 2025. And the purpose of this grant is really to create a master plan document that focuses on active transportation improvements. So this is going to go a long way in helping the city obtain other grants for a lot of our other transportation projects. But this is really the foundation that the city does not have in place at this point, so we can reach out and request additional grant funding. We also received a grant for something called the Slip-On Tanker Unit. That was a little more than $54,000. That was awarded on February 12th of this year. And this was awarded for 2 what are called slip-on tanker units. And I will let Public Works talk about slip-on tanker units if you would like more information on that. But nevertheless, these were units that we did need, and instead of having to use taxpayer monies, we were able to obtain grant funding for these assets. So we do have a few grants that we have submitted. We're still waiting to hear back on whether or not we're going to be awarded them or not. The first one is the U.S. Bureau of Reclamation, also known as the Water Smart or WE grant program. We're requesting about $304,000. And the purpose of this grant really is for projects to conserve and use water more efficiently, to increase the production of hydropower, to mitigate conflict risk in areas of high risk of future water conflict. But if you recall, for the last couple of years, our 5-year CIP program has quite a few water and wastewater related projects that we really need to or we really should accomplish. And a lot of those projects, are dependent upon outside funding sources. This grant would provide some of that funding for those various projects. We've also submitted a grant to the USDA Community Wildfire Defense Grant or program. The amount we're looking for here is slightly above $1.6 million. That was submitted on March 14th. And the purpose of this grant is really for anything related to hazardous fuel projects. And as you know, living in the community that Nevada City is surrounded by, hazardous fuels are an issue. So this grant would significantly help accomplish all the projects and things that Evan and OES, the city's OES department, has identified as being necessary to protect the residents and the community. Another grant that was submitted is the COPS Community Policing Micro Grant. The amount we're requesting here is $175,000. That was submitted on June 30th of 2025. And this grant will help, or at least provide or assist in providing the protection of animals while supporting sobriety or the county's program, which is PAWS, and also the police pilot program. Another grant is the, my apologies, I don't know what's going on there. There we go. My apologies. Another grant that was submitted is the California Department of Parks and Recreation Land and Water Conservation Fund program, which is approximately $125,000. We submitted with the help of California Consulting, obviously, on August 5th of 2025. And the purpose of this program is really to help us fund the North Pine Pocket Park, which is part of the city's 5-year CIP program. We have also the AB 2766 DMV Fund program, and we're looking for about $79,000 there. And that was submitted on August 29th of this year. And this grant is going to at least give us the funding to help us proceed with a more comprehensive proposal later on. So this is pretty much seed money for future grant programs, and California Consulting can elaborate on that. But this is based upon us being a small city and being a lean staff. This is seed money to help us develop a program and a proposal for a much larger program. There are also various SRF programs. So these are grants that we're currently working on with California Consulting, and the dollar amounts do vary depending on the scope of the project, and the deadline here is ongoing. But the purpose of the SRF programs is for primarily funding drinking water projects, wastewater projects, and stormwater projects. Another grant that we're currently working on with California Consulting is the T-Mobile Hometown Grant. There's a $50,000 maximum grant award from T-Mobile, and this does have a rolling grant deadline. And the purpose of this grant is to fund projects that build or rebuild or refresh community spaces that help foster local connections in any town. So we were hoping that maybe this grant would help leverage the other grant funding I just addressed related to Pine Street Pocket Park, so that there'd be minimal taxpayer expense or general fund monies that would be used to develop the Pine Street Pocket Park. That is the activity, the current activity to date with California Consulting. We do meet every month, and staff and California Consulting are very busy. There are a lot of grants that we look at, and sometimes they just don't work out, or I guess for lack of a better word, jive with our 5-year CIP or the needs of the community. But California Consulting is always looking out for grants for us and proposing grants. So with that, staff's recommendation this evening is to receive the presentation, and our request is that you do approve amendment number 2 to the California Consulting agreement. And with that, I would also like to let you know that Samantha D'Ambrosio from California Consulting is also available to answer any questions you may have. And with that, that concludes my presentation. Thank you.
Thanks, Stephen. Public comment and then.
Yeah, that sounds good.
Any public comment on this item? Hearing none, we'll take it back to the desk. What do you got, Daniela?
Yeah, Steve or Samantha, thank you, Steve, for laying that out. It's always nice to see the impact of a service, particularly when we're asking to renew and increase the fee. Can you speak a little bit more to your specific role in getting these grants or acquiring these grants? I heard like finding the grants. Are you writing the grants also? Can you just tell me a little bit more about that?
Yeah, so my role, Councilmember Fernandez, is more so of coordinating the grants with California Consulting and the various departments based upon the grants that they propose.
Great.
So I'm
Thank you,
yes,
Steve. I'm interested in understanding the specific role that California Consulting plays in the grants.
Yes. No, of course. So California Consulting proposes various grants either during our monthly meeting or even beforehand. We get notifications of specific grants that do become available or are about to become available. And California Consulting's role is to educate staff, and based upon the city's needs and based upon the various, I would say, I'll say qualifications or requirements, which they help the city walk through. And again, that's all grant specific. California Consulting will help staff gather the information that's required. They will usually reach out to the various agencies who are the state agencies or federal agencies, whomever is overseeing or providing the grant, and they will prepare the grant application. Since we are such a lean staff, a small city, if you will, there isn't much capacity for staff to do all of this on their own, which is why the city did engage California Consulting, and their efforts have been very beneficial, if I might say, based upon my experience in city government. They've done a great job for Nevada City. But to answer your question, Councilmember Fernandez, they work with staff to compile the information, guide the city, even do due diligence to figure out if the city really can qualify for some of these grants. But they really do all the heavy lifting.
Great, thank you, Steve.
You're welcome.
Yeah, thanks, Steve. Great to see you again. Missed you at the league. No, I'm going to just do simple return on investment, ROI. We're doing very well with this, and I think certainly the increase is warranted. I personally have been doing a fair amount of work around the Neighbor to Neighbor grant, which has been really an important grant for us. But I also had an opportunity the other night to speak to one of our cannabis producers who talked about just how important that cannabis equity grant had been to sustaining their business. So, so the money's going to the right things and the money's coming in. So I'm good and would absolutely support this.
Yeah, it seems like it's an investment the city's making that's seeing a really great return. Would you agree with that assessment, Steve?
Yes, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you, Stephen. Joan, did you have something to add?
Yes, excuse me, I have a text from Councilmember Fleming with a few comments. He is supportive. He believes that we've been very successful. He had a couple of projects that he would like to put forth for California Consulting to give input on, including an amphitheater at the Bodie Hive and the possibility of finding solutions for manufacturing and workforce housing with GeoShib. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Fleming, for chiming in.
Housing Committee?
Oh. All right, do I have a motion to approve amendment number 2 to the contract?
I move that we approve amendment number 2 to the contract.
I second.
Okay. We have a motion from Councilmember Peterson and a second from Councilmember Fernandez. Should we do a roll call?
We can take away the Zoom also.
Thank you, Stephen.
Thanks, Steve. Appreciate it.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor and members of the council.
Councilmember Peterson?
Yes.
Councilmember Fleming? Oh, it's not here.
He seems
Councilmember-
supportive, but that's not
He'll text in his vote.
Councilmember Fernandez?
Yes.
Mayor Klein?
Yes. There you go. Approved. And as we've already done reports and future agenda items. Oh,
Sorry.
Joan, coming in.
I'm sorry,
Squeaker
Mr.
at the
Mayor.
buzzer.
I skipped over my own note. I did have one other item on my report that I'd like to have there he is, Public Works and City Engineer Brian McAllister come up to give for me.
Thank you.
Hi, Brian.
Hi. Gary actually mentioned this. There's a workshop tomorrow night. We just want to make sure everyone's aware of that. There's flyers over here. So the workshop is for SAC Zion pedestrian and bike mobility plan. And it's just a planning study, but it will result in a grant application for bike and ped improvements on Sacramento and Zion. So it's an important project. We just want to get feedback in a community workshop tomorrow night.
Great.
At the Foundry, 5:30.
Thanks, Brian.
Thank you.
See you there.
Thanks, Brian.
Attorney's looking at you. So she's just admiring you.
How you doing, buddy? I'm looking for a motion
I
and a
move that
second
we
to adjourn.
adjourn.
I second it.
We're adjourned. All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Bruce.